Thank you, Sam. I'm so pleased to be here because I've been having a lot of coffee chats, a lot of phone chats, texts with Sam, and it's just a pleasure after being in Manchester for a good chunk of 20 years, coming here as a student to actually be involved in something that's going to benefit my home. I love Alex and Marcelo, your talks before. Everybody's been really inspirational, especially Marcelo. Can I just tell everyone that we've had conversation. She probably doesn't remember, but we've spoken on the phone for hours. She is absolutely amazing, more amazing than you will know. So definitely get involved with her. Get involved in everything that she does, if you can. So I feel a bit weird because I actually went to the University of Manchester, and this is only the second time that I've been on Salford Uni campus, so I feel a bit like an imposter. But it's actually fun, so apologies. My partner, Natalie, couldn't be here with me. We've just started the Hero Works Institute, and we're only about 6 months old, maybe less than that. So to give you a little bit of story behind my background, and then I'll get into the workshop today. I've spent 10 years of my working life, which is the majority of my working life, actually working in financial services, specifically for the Bank of New York Mellon, and that is all I know. So I decided in June last year to up sticks and leave my job. While I was there for a few years, I chaired the multicultural network. So in the bank, we don't have the Black or Asian network or whatever. It's just one for culture. And I chaired it for 4 years. I sat on the committee, on the board for EMEA, and I did a couple of projects globally. And that was really great because I got to do a lot of really good things. I got to see what corporates who really care about diversity are trying to do in the background. But one of the reasons, well, I left for 2 reasons. One of the reasons why I left is because I felt a little bit restricted. So I was doing all this great stuff for people within the 4 walls of BNY, but not that much for outside of the community. And because I was using the bank's money, the bank's funds, the resources, obviously it is to better the objective of the bank and not necessarily everybody else outside, because it can't stretch that far. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go out and do something better, but I'm not sure what. And at the same time, there's this wave of tech taking place in Manchester, a lot of tech events, and especially trying to get women and ethnic minorities into tech. So I thought, I'll delve into that, maybe do a bit of coding, because I've never done it before, and go and find out this whole new world of digital and tech that everybody's talking about. What can I do? And that's when I bumped into my partner, Natalie. So she'd be dreaming of the Hero Works Institute. And what we do is that we're trying to help women in professional services, so that's bankers, lawyers, accountants, insurance brokers, wealth management people, to future-proof their careers. So while this new tech digital wave is going on, there's a lot of focus on what they call low-skilled workers, and not much focus on women who are in the middle, or people who are in the middle, have got some management experience, some leadership experience. Everyone is forgetting about them, but we're forgetting that their jobs will also change. So what we want to do by reskilling, upskilling, and changing the mindset of women in the workplace is make sure that when people are there on the news or wherever talking about women in leadership and the lack of women CEOs, women in boardrooms, that we are there. We want to make sure that the gender pay gap is a forgotten story and we reach it quicker than 2030. Whatever the stats are, 2030, 2049, it's depressing. We think it can happen faster than that. So we've designed a course. It has 6 pieces, important elements within the course. It starts with finding your purpose, which is what I'm going to talk about today. But the other important elements are getting comfortable with technology, implementing design thinking, and also the things that have been spoken about in the Inspire part about your personal branding and making sure that people know who you are when you walk in the room, so that you are the person of choice to be promoted to CEO or to the board level. And it's easier that way, because that's the only way we're going to do things, is by being realistic and equipping people. So, as I've mentioned just briefly before, our course has 6 pieces, and the very first piece of the course is about finding your purpose. Why have we done that? Why have we dedicated a whole 1/6 of our entire course just to finding your purpose? And I don't know about anyone else. Did you read the program today, and when you saw what I was going to be talking about, who honestly, show of hands, who honestly thought, oh, maybe she might be preaching, this will be fluffy, lovey-dovey kind of stuff? Honestly, anybody? No? Wow, you're pretty good, because that's usually what we get. We're like, people are, when you say find your purpose, find your why, it's really, really difficult to do. And I guess it must be in the business world, nobody's got time for that. You're busy doing things. If things are working well, why would you bother finding your why? Why would you bother finding your purpose? So I know that Sam's going to explain a lot more about the Sustainable Development Goals, but that's one thing that's a key element for us. It's actually the fundamental of why we do what we do, because there's goal number 8 and goal number 5, which are about equality. So it's particularly equality for men and women, and making a better workplace, giving better work conditions for everybody. That's why the Hero Works exists. And we are 100% aligned to the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Everyone that we work with, everyone that comes through our course, what we're doing is asking them to find their own purpose. And within those goals, if you're not familiar with them, you will go through them. But it doesn't matter what you do. We truly believe that as long as you can find your purpose, there's going to be something within those 17 goals that you can achieve. So that's what I want to do today, is really take you through some strategies. They're really questions that I found through a lot of research that's going to help everyone find their purpose. Because I find that when people talk about this, they don't really know what their purpose is. They do cling on to something that they find, but really and truly, there's a lot of people that don't know what their purpose actually is. And it's not something that you can find within 5 minutes. It can take years for some people. Some people, they find it young, as Alex said. But for some of us, it takes you forever. And that's absolutely fine. I didn't know what my purpose was. I wasn't interested in finding it until recently. I'll be quite honest. Even though I had a lot of success with my diversity and inclusion work, I won awards for it. I went to New York several times. I met the CEO several times. I still did not know what my purpose was, and I wasn't interested in finding it. I just knew that I was helping people, and that drove me. But now I'm on a quest to help people like me find their purpose. Everybody needs to find their purpose, because it just, for us, it affects the bottom line of business, and it affects profit and the happiness of your employees. And that's what we're all about. Keeping women in the workplace, keeping them happy, and making sure that businesses are profitable. Even if, it's a social business, it still needs to be profitable. In order to do good, you still need to put money in your pocket so that you can carry on doing the good in your world. So, and I guess maybe an unorthodox reference that I've leaned towards for this particular session is a guy called Mark Manson. So you may be familiar with him because he wrote the book, and I will not swear, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a... But I believe you're familiar with the book. You're familiar with it, because the reason why I go there is because there's so many ways of asking, what is your purpose? What is your why? What's your life mission? And it can sound a bit heavy, to be quite honest. I don't know about you, but I did find it quite heavy when people start talking about it. I'm like, oh my goodness, here we go again. It just feels like, I don't know. What am I going to do? So I've got a couple of questions, and if you want to take notes as you go along, I want you to genuinely ask yourself. If you don't have to share in this room today, but I want you to genuinely ask yourself, answer those questions. And I guarantee that by the end, it's kind of the same question from different angles, but by the end, the collection of your answers is going to push you to a closer direction and helping you to know what your purpose is and exactly what you're going to do about it. So, first question. What is your favorite poo sandwich? And does it taste nice with juice? What on earth does that mean? Poo sandwich, quite simply, is when you want to achieve something, everything comes at a cost. So while I was working as the chair of Impact, that's our multicultural society in BNY Mellon, I had to do my day job. I didn't get paid for it. I quite often worked maybe 16 hours, maybe 12 hours a day sometimes to get things done. Yeah? And a lot of people, if they know me, they look at me, they just see, oh, she's one Northern Power Women. Oh, she was BNY Mellon's youngest star, chairman star, chosen by the chairman, handpicked. Oh, she won this. Oh, she does that. She leads. She's the youngest leader within the company. They didn't see what I was doing when everybody else went home at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock or whatever. I stayed in the office because I had to make that network work. So there will be something that you're doing or maybe you want to do, but you've got to think, what is the poo sandwich for you? What is it that you're prepared to do or you're doing at the moment that maybe no one else is doing, but you know that you've got to do it even if it's for a short time just to get to where you want to be? And that thing that you're doing, that's probably close to your passion, that's close to your purpose, that's close to your why. So if that clicks with anybody in here, write that down, please. Next question, or a different way of thinking about it. What is true about you today that your 8-year-old self would cry if you told them about it? A way of looking at this is basically, maybe what did you used to do naturally when you were a child and you all of a sudden gave up because it doesn't make money? Or your parents, as us Africans often get told, your parents tell you that it's not a job, it's not a career, it's not honorable to do. What is it? Is there something that you've given up? Is there something that you do less of? Or is there something that you do in secret because you don't want other people to know? Because, I don't know, it's not being a doctor or a lawyer or whatever. It's not something you can boast about in a party, maybe. I personally, I didn't even know this until recently, because design thinking is an important part of the course. And one of the things I've been doing, because I know that's my weakest point in the course, is getting close to designers, getting close to artists and illustrators as well. And I've remembered that actually in my primary school books and my high school books, we used to have to draw a lot. And I loved it. I mean, I was a straight A student, but the only reason why I was a straight A student is because my teachers allowed me to draw in my books. I'm not one of those that writes loads of notes. I'm not even a reader. I really didn't start reading until the last 5 years. I'll put my hand up. But get me to draw something. Get me to draw my notes. Get me to draw a graph, anything, and it will stick in my head. And I love it. I find it like therapy. I'm not sure, because I've only just rediscovered this new gift that I had and I suppressed because it wasn't cool, because I couldn't be a designer, because my parents told me, you know, unless you're an architect, you don't need to know how to draw. I'm not sure where it's going to lead me, but I'm going to follow it. So is there something that you've been suppressing that you do in secret maybe, or you don't do enough of it, or maybe you didn't think about when you were doing it, maybe it brings you a bit of joy? Is there something that you could do more of? And then, like Miss Ella, you can figure out how to make money out of it, because it is possible. It's absolutely possible. People will, my one thing from learning this business within the last 6 months, I can tell you, people will pay you for anything on this earth. You can figure it out. But wouldn't it be great if you did that thing or those things every single day that give you joy, and it's so easy to do, and it doesn't even feel like work? And you could be brilliant. We could have the next Michelangelo or whatever sitting in this room and we wouldn't even know. So yeah, I encourage you. I'm telling you from personal recent experience, That's only one of my things that I've resurfaced since I've left the work of 9 to 5, the corporate world. If you feel like there's anything that you want to do, definitely just give it a go. You may be rubbish at it. It may not turn out to be, as good, but give it a go. Yeah. And if you've got children or children around you, just test it on them. Because I was thinking about this when I read that, and I actually thought there's quite a few things that I do with my nephew. They're about 7, 8. I never do it for myself, but I enjoy doing it with them, and I'm actually quite good at it. So I'm going to go back and keep doing those things. The next one. What kind of things do you do that make you forget to eat or even forget to go to the toilet? I know definitely that everybody in this room has got something that they do. You don't even think about it. Because I can see the smiles going around the room. The stuff that you do, and someone has to tap you on the shoulder and say, when's the last time you drank water? When's the last time you had lunch? How many times do people in this room, how many times, show of hands, do you work through and you don't have lunch because you're so passionate, you're getting through it? Find that thing, whatever it is you're doing. Okay, put a routine around it because you need to have lunch and you need to go to the toilet. But listen to that, because that's probably your passion. And you need to put some structure around that thing, whatever it is that you're doing. And if you're not doing enough of it, find a way to do it. Find a way to do it, even if it's at the weekends or in the evenings, find a way to do it more. Because I promise you, once you find a way to do it more, you'll be able to structure and shoe that in. And eventually it may become a side hustle. It may become a job. You may be standing up on stage famous one day for doing that thing. Just follow that instinct, whatever it is. This is a hard one. How can you better embarrass yourself? That's weird, because why on earth would anyone want to embarrass themselves? But the point of this one is that whatever you do, if it feels hard to you, it's probably something that you should do, unless it's illegal, of course. When Sam asked me to come today, I was thinking I'd come and just sit in the audience. I didn't necessarily want to come and speak, because Natalie usually does the speaking when we go to speaking gigs. But I know that that's something that I have to do. I know that's something I'm good at, but I have to do it more and more. I have to do it more and more. So whatever it is, when someone asks you to do something and you think, oh, I'm not good enough, imposter syndrome kicks in, think again. Just push yourself and just say yes. And I'll give you one last one, because I know I'm running out of time. And it's very relevant for today. How are you going to save the world? Now, this shouldn't be hard, because if you look at the world, just all you have to do is turn on the news, turn on the radio, and there's so much bad stuff happening. There is so much that is happening out there. It's quite easy. Even if you look at the Sustainable Development Goals themselves, they're very positive, but you can always pick out a problem that's going on globally, going on around you, around the corner. It doesn't have to be far from you. It's happening. Is there something that you can do to leave this world a better place than how you came into it? That's the way that people usually go into it. So I hope you kept note of all the questions, but I'll send them over to Sam. I don't know if you're distributing something so that you can look at them and think from all the questions. If you've answered any or some of them, there should be a running theme throughout. And I guarantee you're going to find your purpose. And I guarantee you, if you align it to those 17 goals, I know that some people have only just been introduced to them, but a lot of research and a lot of work has gone into devising what those goals will be. I guarantee you, I promise you, you'll find something that's going to be your life purpose, that's going to make you happier to get out of bed in the morning. And when you hit that spot, it's golden. Absolutely golden. Thank you, Sam. I'm going to wrap up.